What's up, Mr. David?
There we go.
Everyone's AI are joining the room.
Yeah,
But
let me kick mine out. You can kick it out.
oh yeah, I could do that. Yeah, why not? What's up, guys? Just gonna kind of get started here. How's it going? This is David, the sales designer, the ninja of sales. Excited to kind of dive in here once people start hopping in. Why don't you guys punch in the chat? I'd love to know where you're from. Where you guys at?
Oh man, cool. So, here we go.
Hot Atlanta. Nice. Nice, dude. I guess it's early for you. It's 10 p.m. here in freaking Dubai. Mr. David, how you doing?
Yep. I'm good. Just brought my boys into bed. So hopefully we will not get some visitors. But it can be that they come out again. So let's see. I told them
Yeah.
stay in bed, between telling them what to do and what they basically do. There's a big difference, I think, like with prospects also, right? Huh?
Yeah. Well, kids are like, I guess, the ultimate closers and prospects. Yeah, man. So David is like, you got the Joker painting behind you. It's funny because I'm like, I always tell David he's like the madman of sales, like the Joker of sales. Like you're a ninja. You're absolutely ninja. Like David and I met. How long ago was it? Back in 2018, 2019? I think 2019 at an
Yeah,
event.
yeah,
Tennessee.
starting 2019.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
And even back then, you were like, closing big deals and like you're just like a ninja of sales. And I was like, man, like
Mm.
you
So,
always have like a different style too. And so I'm excited to kind of like dive in here,
of course.
talk about it. Should have some more people hopping in.
Yeah, sure. So, let me see. What is it? What is your socials? Yeah, I will drop them. Harp, you want to unmute yourself? Because I think, man, we could do like if like 1 million people are in here, or we can do it really like intimate and just having a cool normal conversation. So, I'm not smarter than you. Maybe I just have a little bit more of experience in what I do, right? But
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
huh?
I didn't realize I was on my company's Zoom there for a second, but yeah, my name's Luis. Been following
Luis.
been following Ben for a little bit. He's
Yeah.
from like some of my mentors, and I'm currently mentored by like Jeff Lundeen and like Larry Annaporta. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
on the
Jeff was
Twitter
one of my
sphere of
clients.
things.
Jeff's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's funny. Jeff is really funny. I came across Jeff through are you familiar with Serial Sales, Dylan Vergara?
Yeah, I was down in Austin last month. I
Okay.
met Dylan and the gang.
Yeah. So I met him
Cool.
just like in Slack DMs and started working with him earlier this year as DM setter. And then eventually I just kind of, really liked what he had been doing and just wanted to follow that path.
Awesome, man.
Cool.
What are your
Where
goals
you
in sales?
from?
Atlanta.
Yeah.
What was that?
Oh, Atlanta. Okay, cool.
What are your goals in sales? Also, what's up, Jason? We
My
got
goals in
house.
the next month or like 30 days are to find a new offer. I'm trying to leave my 9 to 5 to go all in with closing. So I have experience. I've closed on 5 different offers now, and it's just really hard getting on a really good offer if you're part time, like I was mentioning yesterday. So kind of going through Closers IO funnel, a couple of different people that like I've
Okay.
outreach to and stuff like that, but just landing a new offer.
Cool. Hey, Jason, man. Nice to meet you.
Hey,
Jason
pleasure to meet you,
tuning in
Dave.
live from Colombia, huh?
Yeah, from Medellin, Colombia.
Oh,
Love
the
that.
Latin fraction is here. I'm from El Salvador. So, yeah, that's
Oh,
funny.
A German guy from El Salvador.
Yeah.
So
I would have
David
figured
speaks like
Venezuelan.
nice.
Where you from, Luis?
I'm Venezuelan. I was born in Venezuela.
Really?
Yeah.
oh, you escaped
Man,
communism.
Yeah,
Yeah, really though.
for
That's
real.
crazy.
this is cool. This is cool. So guys, welcome. Happy to have you here. And what this is not Ben and me being smart and we're gonna impress some freakish things into you. It's more about really to, so for me, it's really about to, have you experienced that then when people do not buy, that there is something like they have a limiting worldview, and in this worldview, they don't want to let go of this like old worldview, which needs to be shattered, right? And so this like current worldview that prospects have, they don't want to let it go. Have you experienced that? That it sometimes can become a little bit of tough, rough to destroy this really current worldview, because in this worldview, there is the self-view like imprinted into, right?
Yeah.
Have you experienced that some way in sales sometimes? Think so, right? And so when and this is really so, because Ben, he asked me, he said, David, man, what do you think if we just share our accumulated experience, so from Ben and me, and then this is really a thing to say, okay, let's just have a chat, open conversation around that. And you guys always, whenever you don't understand something or you want to dig deeper into something, so let's take it from there. And the topic for Ben and me is really to say, okay, how can we really help great salespeople to step into the next level, right? And
Yeah,
it's basically around that to see, okay, how can we not teach you something, because most of the time it's not about teaching, it's really about like finding this little glass piece, which is, you know, when something breaks, let's say this bottle breaks, what most of the sales trainings do, they pick up the big pieces, you know, which is like repetition from all the time, the same stuff without judging it. But what are the pieces that really hurt are those small shitty
the
pieces
splinters,
that nobody
the
sees.
splinters.
And when you hit your foot on them, you continue walking, but somewhere down the path, out of the sudden, you just feel a pain. You say, fuck, what's that?
Yeah.
Right. And so this is more about finding those like nuances in there. And it may sound like spooky at the beginning, but you will see as we dig deeper into that, you will see how simple it is, right? So this is really about simplicity. And the main thing is really about to understand, because I see most sales reps, or let's say the founder, is not able to surpass his thinking about the offer to the sales rep. So the sales rep has to come up with his own thoughts about the offer, right? And so it's okay, but how do you do that, right? So I've been chatting with Ben about that, and then
dude,
yeah,
really quickly, these people, I don't think they know you. I've been posting screenshots. I'm like, David's like a genius. He closes these huge deals. I would love to just like the quick and dirty version of like, who was David originally in sales, and what was the progression, and where are you at now?
Yeah, sure.
Because that would be really cool. Even for me.
Yeah, of course. So at first, David Solano from El Salvador, born in Germany, raised in El Salvador. So this is my mom, she's from El Salvador. My dad, he was German before he passed away. So what you will get here, you will get like those two type of versions, like the German version, this ta-dang, 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 you know, this straight version, which people say, man, this was hit. This was just on point. And then there's also like this Latin version, which you guys are pretty familiar with, right? The fun thing, a little bit chaotic, the loving the flow, bring up the things to say, you know what? Everybody goes this way, I go that way. I have two kids, married, currently living in Germany, but at home at the world. So really happy to be here. What do? I design sales processes that sell 6 figures per day, per week, per month, whatever somebody wants to sell, right? So I'm really in this designing place, sales. Why do I say that I design sales? Because I could call myself also an expert, but an expert that feels really, it's not me. Yes, I know what I do. I'm doing this thing since more than 15 years. But, you know, what would you choose? Would you choose something when it comes to sales that is designed to you, or something from an expert who says, just do it this way? What would you choose, designed or expert?
I pick design.
Yeah, custom plan is so much better because every business, every operation, every logistic is always different.
Exactly.
Not to mention, every closer is different. you can try to fit somebody else's mold. You can try to pour your mold into it and it might not fit you exactly. Whereas like, what if we designed a mold for you that was perfect fit?
Yeah, some closers are questioned, they're pushed for the sale. They're always trying to lead the customer to buy. Others are consultative and they're trying to protect the brand from bad clients.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Right. And so what I've been doing the last 10 years is helping great people to invite more great clients into their world. Why do I say invite? Because for me, it's always an invitation, right? I can force somebody into a sale, or I can invite somebody into a sale. There's a different type of energy behind that, because who has the power when somebody invites versus when somebody forces? I have the power, right? And so there's something which I say, hey, I really prefer the version of invitation versus punching somebody into a sale. And this is what I do all around the world. So people who come to me, they are currently already selling high ticket. When I say high ticket, I mean between 15,000 upwards. So my clients, what do they sell? 100,000, 200,000. The last client the current client I'm working with, he sells up to 500,000 packages, right? It's a consulting thing.
Your clients, just to be clear, that's B2B or B2C?
My clients are consultants, coaches, stuff like that, right? So they sell.
Are they working with other businesses?
Yeah, it's B2B. Yeah, it's really B2B. And yeah, this is the world in which I am. This is the world in which I am. And I also have my own stuff, so my own consultings, which I do. And this is, yeah, why are we talking? Because I shared with Ben. He asked me, David, how's it going? I said, yeah, pretty cool. Just invited somebody to my world with a 150K deal. He said, crap, dude, what did you do?
Damn. Yeah. Tell me, like, I want to know. Why can't I, like, why aren't I closing 150K deals? So yeah.
And so
like everything, just to preface, like all the principles and stuff that we're going to talk about are universal to sales, right? It's not like, oh, this will only work for B2B. So like, it's every sales person to person, whether it's B2B or B2C or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so there are a couple of things, and what Ben and me, what we really would love to help you with is, because Ben, he asked me, he said, David, so if you could break it down into some simple steps, let's say that like there are 4 steps, right? For you guys, is number 1 is, which everybody knows, is the motivational piece. So at the beginning comes the motivation, then comes the interest, then comes the desire, and then comes the demand. And
what do most people do wrong? That's,
yeah. What do you guys think? So share whatever you guys also want to share, and then what do you think?
I'll give you how I think of it, but you guys just go nuts.
Yeah.
I was gonna say demand. I feel like people probably struggle asking for the sale.
And motivation, like people, a lot of them aren't surface, like you're getting surface level motivations or drivers from people without really digging deep. And I think that take practice to really get good at digging.
Yeah.
So definitely. I think of it as it's a spectrum, right? If you're motivating people, the way I think of it, it's like you're walking down the street and like a club promoter runs out. In Colombia, this happens all the time. Hey, come into the club. It's really cool in there. I'll give you free drinks. There's hot girls, free cover. Come on in. Like everyone's trying to motivate you, push. Demand is like, nah, usually you're like, get away from me. Like you're not in the mindset to buy. You're like, no. Then there's interest. You're like, oh, you know what? Maybe that club looks kind of interesting. Like, oh, there's like a good line there. And then desire is like, it's where like desire is where it starts to flip from, someone needing to push you to like, you're starting to be pulled towards this thing. And then demand is like, I want to get in there right now. That one right there. That's the place I want to go to. That's how I think about it.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, most people are pitching their offer too soon in that process. People are still in the motivation/interest range, whereas we want to get them in the demand before we even make an offer. right?
I that's the biggest thing. That's why I wish Ben was cloned. Because I think so many sectors and people
No, you
approach,
don't.
they pitch too early. And they're like, they try
Totally.
jumping the like buy. And that may work with like TVs and refrigerators and stuff, but that doesn't work the same thing with other things like this.
Yeah. I got started in door-to-door sales, and it was all motivations, like push, 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 like, handle the objections, boom, 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 like really like aggressive, like trying to sell them right there on the spot. Hey, like, what's up? I'm Ben. I'm knocking on your door. Buy my shit, you know? And it's hard.
Hey
Like
guys,
it's hard to sell. What's
And I
up?
know
I
myself,
just
when I see that and hear that, it turns me off immediately. It makes me not want to buy.
Yeah.
You and
I
everybody
just
else.
want.
What's up, man?
Oh,
What's your
sorry.
name?
Yeah, it's Boraj. Yeah, we
Baraj,
we
what's up?
met today. Yes.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I was on mute. Sorry for I can't turn my camera on now, but I just have one question with this. How do you warm up then basically? So
That's what we're
how
gonna
do you?
talk about, bro.
Oh, okay, great. And then
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it. Yeah.
This guy's
Yeah,
a
man.
man. He has a spa here. He gave me a free massage. Well, not him, but his like masseuse. There's the shit.
I give him the massage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben, you don't know my
So-
people. I got a spot here. You can get also a $22 massage. Like I have a shit day and I walk out feeling like a rag doll because these like tiny women are elbowing my shoulders.
Tiny Latina women. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go into all that. So take it away, David.
Exactly.
This is your show.
Yeah, of course. No, this is our show. Like I mentioned, right? I really want you guys to, whenever you have a question, something like that, you say, okay, how do you mean? Right? Bring it up. Really bring it up. The only thing that we need to take care of, Ben sometimes needs to catch his flight. So
Yeah, I got like 2 hours to get to the airport. I'm good.
Fine. Okay, cool. So the thing with motivation and what is it, Jason? You mentioned it. Way too many people they try to motivate people into a sale. They try to force people into a sale. They try to manipulate somebody into a sale. Right?
Yep.
They lie into a sale.
Yep.
A lot of people lie into a sale, and the thing is, you know, the prospect, he receives way too early the pitch. Way too early the pitch because the prospect didn't even say yes to it, right? So
yeah,
the prospect is still in the being motivated phase, and the close and the salesperson is already in the demand phase. So there's a gap between where the prospect is and where the salesperson is, right? And so these like stages must be bridged. The prospect needs to give the salesperson permission to say, okay, let's go through this stage. If you look through windows, right? So there are like 6 windows between the salesperson and the prospect. So the prospect needs to surpass each window to say, okay, stage 1, check. Stage 2, check. Stage 3, check. Stage 4, check. Because if the salesperson pitches way too early, then what's going to happen? Nothing, nada, niente, you know? And then that's really the point. And really to take it back, because Ben, he asked me, David, what is it? And I said, look, there are like 3 principles, which are pretty simple, but most of the people do them wrong. So what do you say? Who's the most important person in the call? Who is it? When we talk, you, the prospect, who's the most important person?
Prospect.
What?
Prospect.
Definitely not. It's you.
Ooh.
Because if you are in a shitty energy, what will you do? It's you. You need to be in your best state. Point number 1. You guys, you're the most important person in the chat, in the call, in everywhere, right? This is really important. Does this make sense? Because if you say, hey, the prospect, it's fine if I'm in a shitty energy, as long as my prospect is hyped. How will that be? How will the energy be? Who will win? You are the prospect.
Someone told me everything you do outside of sales incorporates into what you do in sales. If you're in a shitty
that was
energy,
me, brother. That was probably me.
Well, 100%. I'm pretty sure you said that to the guy who told me that.
Yeah, Jeff probably told you that shit. That's what I trained Jeff on. Yeah, it's like if you are trying to sell, let's say, a $5,000 offer, but you need like $50,000 offer energy because they're coming in with their reality, and your reality needs to be bigger and better. So you smash their reality and get them to be like, whoa, and absorb into yours. So there's 2 frames, right? There's their frame and your frame, and it's like Pac-Man. You know, you basically one frame will win. It's either their frame wins and they don't buy, or your frame wins and they buy. Would you say that's correct, or would you add to that?
Definitely, right? And so getting back to that, we will talk more in depth about the you thing, why you are the most important person during the call. Then the next thing is the frame. Frame control. Who has the frame wins the game. Pretty simple. Who wins the frame, who holds the frame, wins the game. If there is no frame, there will be no game. Right? And then the last thing is the pitch. When does the pitch start? What do you say?
Well, when you've gotten all the objections out of the way, I mean, you've asked the right questions so that way you limit the amount of objections you get later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Luis, what do you think?
Yeah, what do you think?
I was gonna say the same thing, but I don't know. I was gonna say maybe even like when you first hop on the call, it's like your presence and your energy.
Yeah, that immediate tone in the first 2 minutes of the call, if that's good or bad, or you're fumbling over your lines, it's going to ruin the whole call.
Let me tell you one thing. You are on my pitch since you joined this call. Till now, till now, I just haven't got the permission to pitch you. But you are already in my pitch.
I knew it. You were going to sell a training course. We're going to have to pay $5,000 and to get programmed to become a salesman.
10.
Yeah.
Right?
Minimum.
10 grand.
2 trillion. 2 trillion.
Yeah. So the pitch starts at this second. The person enters or hits the application. Then the pitch is already starting. Right? So the pitch starts in second one. This person is having some type of interaction with your company, with you, whatever you do, like pre-outreach, stuff like that. Then the pitch starts, right? And this is so important because so many people get this wrong. They say, oh yeah, the pitch starts after the offer. No, that's bullshit. Way too late, right? The pitch has already started. The pitch is already in the game. The only thing that is there is the permission from the prospect. Hey, please pitch me now.
I listened to David's call. Say that again.
But then the prospect has the frame. Now they're asking questions and they're ordering you around.
Say this again. I didn't get it.
Well, you just said from the perspective of the prospect, pitch me now, blah, blah. That's the prospect now has control of the conversation. They're telling you what to do. And they're asking.
No, I created the situation because of what I do prior to that the prospect wants my pitch, because I moved the prospect from motivation into interest, into desire, and into demand. When you guys move somebody from desire into demand, either you say, okay, where should we take it from here? Silence. Then they say, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Explain me what to do. Or they say, okay, what's next? I want to know more. Please pitch me your thing. Because the thing
this goes for setting and closing, by the way, because if you guys are setters, very important that you don't pitch before they're interested in the call.
Yeah. Ben, you want to share something?
I listened to your call.
Setting.
Huh? Setting call is a sales call too, but you're selling you're selling the next step, right? And it's the same thing. They have to be like, in a state of desire and demand. Okay, well, like, like, how can you help? Like, well, book in the next call. Yeah. Like I trained our setter, Vlad, and I was listening to his call, and the prospect was like, I don't really know if I'm interested. And Vlad was like, oh, well, you should, like, He just started pushing. And the guy, like, he's like, fine. He like twisted his arm into like agreeing to the call. And he just no-showed because he was still in motivation, because he wasn't asking the right questions in the right order at the right time. He didn't have the prospect in the right state of mind to even want the pitch, because he was still, like David said, he's over here. The setter is in demand. Like, oh, you need, like, this is so good. Like, you're going to have so much value from this call. Prospects still like, I don't know what this is about. Like, I'm not there yet. So we got to pull that out of them.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And one thing that is really important is as soon as your sales frame destroys the current worldview from the prospect, right? So I see it like this. So the prospect is here and you want to get him there. Okay. Prospect is here, you want to take him there. So what is an objection? An objection is that somebody has questions and somebody doesn't want to let go of this current reality, right? Because of some identity stuff. The person says, I don't know if I should do this, blah, 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 all those things. So what happens way too often that salespeople want to explain what they do, but they explain it way too early because the worldview hasn't shifted. Is this making sense? So the worldview from the prospect is still the old reality, and the salesperson wants to sell the new reality. So there is an old reality fighting against the new reality. What Ben mentioned, two frames are colliding against each other. And when two frames hit against each other, there is no nice sex situation. It is pure survival mode, right? So when you get the tension, when you get the friction, all of those things in sales calls, it is because the worldview, the current worldview from the prospect hasn't been shattered. Is this making sense? It hasn't been shattered, though. The prospect is still holding on to this reality, right? He is still holding on to this reality. And this is something that most salespeople don't get, even in marketing. Ben, he's really good at destroying with marketing those realities. If you guys really think a good copy, what does good copy do? It shatters the reality, right? It shatters the current reality. And it does not only shatter the current reality, it also shatters the current self view from the person who's reading that, because the person says, oh, I've never thought about that. Oh, this is different. Oh, okay. So there comes in like a paradigm shift, a perspective shift, an identity shift. And the person said, okay, this is what I really want, right? I always have seen something like this, but now I see that it is that. And then what we want, what I basically want, what I always tell to the people I work with, I say, look, what you want to do in the first couple of minutes, you want to take somebody to acknowledge that the current worldview in which they are in is shit. Right? Because when they say, oh man, that's true, I will not get any type of objections. It's more than just a timing objection. It's something like, okay, what about the timing? Okay, how can I pay? Stuff like that. But this really happens after I shattered the worldview, I shattered the self view, but in the same time, I need to create something new for them, right? So when I destroy something old and I don't give them something new, they will feel like lost. So they don't know what's going on over here. So what will they do? They will go back to the old thing. Is this making sense? What are you getting so far? No? Luis, what are you getting out of that?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense when the two frames collide. Like you really just want to have synergy with them. Once you destroy their worldviews, bring them together, work together, and show them and lead them the way that they're not aware of.
Yeah.
The best salespeople that I've worked with are masters at perspective. Like they have a unique perspective on the way they see the world, and if they can get the prospect to share that perspective by the end of the call, they're going to buy, or they're going to set. If they're a setter, they're going to like do the next step.
Yeah, because that's the reality is that like you mentioned, a frame, like our frames here and their frames here, like 50K month, 5K month. When we're talking to someone about their issue, like let's say like fitness, and like, okay, well, can you tell me more about that? And they kind of tell me about how their health is lacking, or they're having issues with their health, or whatever's related to the fitness and it's affecting their life. All right, we've just sat there and we've listened to them about it, and now they've just told us that this is an issue for them. We've just been good listeners and asked some questions diving into it, but they've just shattered their own worldview on their own accord. So now we just need to see how badly
we got the first step. We got them to acknowledge that their current reality is like not cutting it, right?
Yeah.
Can I have like 2 days ago, just for an example for that, just to what you guys did at this situation. So I got a call, like I made a call, like a phone call, and it was a small retainer and a success fee for it. And the retainer was really small. So like a couple $100, and the success fee was like a really big amount, and I just tried to get him on a closing call or on a call with the closer, and he I made the mistake that he get me to make like to tell him the offer basically and this, but he started before I told him. He started that with that he won't pay anything in advance, so like only the success fee, and he wouldn't pay anything in advance even if it's a small thing. So just I'm just interested in how you guys would handle that situation.
Ben, can you translate it for the German one who didn't really get it, please?
Okay, so no,
yeah, he was on like a triage call, like a discovery call, and the guy was like, "Well, what is the offer?" And it sounds like we kind of jumped ahead a few steps and explained, "Oh, it's this price, it's this fee after that, da, da, da," and it was too soon. If you ask me, the guy's like, "I don't want to pay anything up front, only after I get results, da, da, da," and it was just sounds like he was still. We didn't shatter the guy's worldview. He still kind of, was in his own world. Maybe didn't even acknowledge that he has a problem. Like, it's hard to say. Like,
yes,
that's what I got.
So yeah, we got the problem before, so he was acknowledging his problem. But I'm just interested in how you guys would handle this situation.
So let me ask you one thing. Are you interested, or do you want to demand the skill?
What skill?
The skill, because you're asking for something and you want to have something. And are you interested?
No. Yeah. I'm not demanding it. It was really good to know. Like, you guys are more experienced. I'm just starting at how it would be good to know what should I have
This
done.
is a great example. Are you guys getting it? What I'm challenging him with is he's still in the interest mode, right? So when somebody's in the interest mode of wanting to know something, what is your experience out of your sales calls? When somebody is in this mode, hey, how would you do this? Hey, how would you do that?
Does Housey want to fish, or does he want to learn how to fish? Is what you're asking.
Well, it's like that, and they're still kind of curious, but they're not like, I need to know, like I need to have the solution.
Exactly, right? And so the point is that in this curiosity piece, the prospect most of the time. So what's the name of the sir that asked that?
Balázs. It's Balázs.
Balázs. Okay, sorry, man. I didn't want to pronounce your name wrong.
Yeah.
So the thing is that your prospect is still in the wrong mindset, right? The prospect isn't ready to receive whatever the value from your thing is. And the prospect hasn't the feeling, oh my gosh, okay, like this person or this company or this offer will really like catapult my life from here to there, right? So the person didn't get something prior to the call. I don't know, whatever you're doing prior to calls. So have a look into that. What are you doing there? What type of messages are you sending there? Right? If you're sending an asset, maybe a video or whatever there is, to really shift the perspective from the person about the thing that you're doing. Because when somebody says, hey, I'm interested, just drop the price. It's like, okay, I missed something, right? And I have this a couple of times. We have this in our emails as well, that somebody say, okay, what's the price? And then I know that it's not worth to dig deeper, right? So it's more like, do I really want to go into that? Okay, what's the price? What's the price? Just give me the price. Give me the thing, because I know those people are way too much interested. They didn't really understand the thing about stepping into the desire and then demanding it. So I know something is still open there. So I need to dig deeper. Yeah. So there is some more depth required into that. Really chunking it down to the thing where they want to take it from there. And yeah, but we will go deeper again into that. Ben, where should we go?
Yeah, I think we're kind of, you said the first step is getting them to acknowledge that their current reality it's not, cutting it.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you take them from there?
It's really important to let them understand that why don't why aren't they able to let go of this reality? And this is, if you think about some rule books, right? So I don't know, what are you guys selling? Jason, what do you do? What do you sell? What's the offer?
Currently in between offers. I got an interview with a fitness offer earlier today.
Ah, okay. Okay, Luis, what about you? What are you selling?
Short form agency. So we sell short form content.
Okay. And so if I just take your example, let's say short form content, right? To really make it simple, if you think about a person who's living in the old reality, right? And there are like multiple areas in which include into his reality. Let's say the person itself, right? Let's say like the agency. So the agency, each reality is ruled by some rules. So it's important to let people to make people understand, to make the prospect understand that there are some book of rules which keep them in this life. Let's say I do content this way. The book of rules when it comes to content. So you guys have to shatter this content rule book, destroy this rule book. Then let's say, how do we purchase? How do we do business? Right? They are living right now after a current rule book when it comes to taking business decisions, right? Then it comes, let's say, to the people we do business with. There are always some rule books, and it's important to understand what is their current reality, what are the rules that they are working from, right? What is their operating system? You really want to understand that before we shatter something. We really want to understand what are their rule books, right? And when they acknowledge, oh man, those rules and those books which keep me here, they really don't serve me anymore, right? Let's say in sales, for me, there are 5 areas. Right, area number one is for me the sales mastery. Right, so sales mastery is all about sales. Then we have the offer mastery. Right, so how good are we with the offer? Then we have the message mastery. Right, then Ben, what have been the next ones?
Business and I think growth.
Yeah, business mastery, right? And then growth mastery. So before I take somebody into those new realities, I need to understand, let's say, what is for you, Luis, what is your rule of books when it comes to sales mastery, right? So I need to understand what have you put into your current and existing book of rules when it comes to sales mastery. You know what I mean?
Not really. Maybe like.
No, I think he's getting it, right? Are you on the path?
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, okay. And so it's really important to understand before I want to sell you my reality about sales mastery, I need to make you that you destroy your current sales rule book mastery, that you say, oh man, I take this book.
Like it's impossible to close at 80%.
And I throw it away, right? I say, this book is not any longer existent in my life. I burn it.
Right.
Yeah. And before this did not happen, let's say I move you forward, but this old book is still existent in your mind, in your head, in your mindset. To what will you tend to move forward? To the old thing or to the new thing?
Old.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thing.
This is the point, right? So it's always about to killing all those things, to making sure that in the way how you guys market your stuff, how you do the pre-call application. What is it? What do you do? 1 call close, 2 call close? How is it? How is it set up in your world?
2 call close.
Yeah. And so that you really have a system in place that tackles those things, right? That tackles pretty early all those realities, those current realities. And because what is the normal way that in the sales call, you as the salesperson need to tackle all those things? Okay, what is it there? What is it there? And I say this is way too much heavy lifting forward when you can have it done earlier prior to the call, right? So that the prospect is already understood, okay, this is my problem, right? This is where I am. And so I don't know, this is so stupid. So sorry guys, this thing is just like coming up. This
You got like some AI there?
I don't know what that is.
Does it do it for me? No. It's just David.
Yeah.
I have a quick question because
yeah, please.
I understood what you're saying about basically understanding their paradigm,
yes,
burning that paradigm, and then introducing your paradigm to them. And before you introduce any of this, you've had to fully like eliminate this, or else they're just going to revert back to it. It's just basic human psychology. It's like just going back to what you know and you're comfortable with it.
Yes.
In terms of, you listed out the 5 things. It's the sales, offer, message, business, and growth mastery. Yeah. What exactly do you mean by growth mastery? Is it what can I do for you? Like, what can my business, my offer do for you? Is that what that means?
Growth mastery, this is most important. If you look at Ben, so Ben for me is the perfect example of growth mastery, right? What do I mean by this? It is, if you look who he became is by growth, and growth is not only business, it's holistic, right? So he mastered his habits. Look who he became, right? So for him, he mastered his habits because this really has something to do with growth, right? And this is so important. So in everything that Ben and me, we do. So when
also you could say it's self-mastery,
Yeah.
It's not just your skills and your business and your offer and your message. These are all very important.
Yeah.
It's like the person showing up to the call. Who are you outside of the call? Like, it's like a lot of people will tell you sales is leadership. And you can understand that logically, but then you can't even lead yourself. You can't even get yourself to do what you're trying to get these people to do. You have to kind of focus on your own internal growth outside of sales and business.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys distinguished that, because I was thinking more external, and it's all internal, and then that internal growth obviously is going to kind of radiate out.
Definitely.
It's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing, because
you had that client, he was like an alcoholic or a drug addict or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
You closed the 30s something K sale.
Yeah, this is a crazy story. So I'm working with somebody, and this guy, he was 13 years drug addict. 13 years. And then the next thing is, so he got rid of that, and then he couldn't sleep for 8 years. Imagine, you just have like 2 hours per night of high quality sleep.
How the hell do you function with that?
He didn't function, man. He couldn't function. To be honest, he wasn't able to function. So he was on a team that they placed him on a sales team on which I trained. And then I felt this dude is brilliant, but something is totally off. Something isn't working. And this was what you just said, Jason. He wasn't able to function. So he had some peak days when he had some like 3 hours sleep. Then he had some really, really bad dark days because he had no sleep. And I said, man, what's wrong? I didn't get it till he said, David, look, I really can't sleep because some stuff. And what really happened, then I said to him, look, man, what we need to do, and this is, Luis, basically what you just said. He was used to get trained in the skills. So he had all the tactics, all the transactional stuff, all the tangible things. He knew the book, he knew this, he knew that, all of that. But what he was lacking was the internal growth, so the self-mastery. So what was my mission with him? To tell him, hey, man, look, before I help you build your world, I need to help you build you. So before I help you to build a new business, I need to understand how you see yourself in your world. How is your world running? Right? How are you running in your world? Right? Because for me, there are like 3 layers. If you think about a big circle, this is the kingdom from the client. Then we have the king, and then we have the man or the woman behind all of that. So we have the kingdom, we have the king, queen, and then we have the person, either man or woman. So if I just work on the kingdom and I don't help the man really to step up, I'm not talking about masculinity, nothing of that. I'm just talking about really being a person, like doing all the personal stuff. then the king will never work. So let's say the business owner will be like sleeping, right? And I helped him. I not helped him. I really like punched him, because this was hard work. Just getting somebody who's used to those unhealthy habits, right, without judging him. But it was really tough journey. And so we spent a couple of hours in calls together, and it really helped him to understand, Louis, what you said. He always was looking for the external thing. I said, man, fuck that. This is not relevant right now. You will get to this place. But at first, because what he wanted a trick to be excellent.
Yeah.
And I said, man, excellence is a fucking habit.
It is 100%.
Excellence is a habit. You can't go to a seminar and say, hey, yes, please teach me excellence. It will never work, right? It will fucking never work. So because excellence is a habit, and so it's not only about developing the skills from somebody, it's really developing the person, And there's something that I got from Robin Sharma. He said, hey, before I build the world from the person, let's build the person. And this is so mission critical. And this is why I ask those type of questions, to really understand in the first couple of minutes, how does the person sees the thing that I want to enroll the person into, right? Let's say I'm selling events. Let's say, Luis, I want to sell you my event. I want to sell you, hey, start doing events. I could start talking about events immediately. Or at first, I want to know, okay, and this is a question that I really always ask. I say, hey, Luis, in your own words, finish the sentence, events are ...
Transformational.
There we go. So now, what did I do with this right now? In which state did I put you in when you just speak of this word?
Self-empowered, like, state.
There we go. And this is what I want, right?
Yeah, because we want to get people into a buying state, like a resourceful state where they're empowered. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first step.
Because now I can just use this word as an anchor and relate all the time. Hey, but you mentioned events are transformation. Why are you keeping doing this type of thing?
Is this like NLP?
It's involved in there. Definitely, right? But it's mostly, it's not an NLP thing. NLP is involved. I just use the word as an anchor because it is basically an anchor. And
David, you're about to get married, correct?
Say it again, please.
Said you're about to get married?
No, he's already married.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm married.
But I'm just so in this relevance, he's kind of associated with NLP. Would you say dating kind of relates to sales in this aspect? Meaning like, hey, do you want to be here? Do you want to do this? It's like that whole testing the waters to bring them in, and now they're excited to be here.
Of course, because like Ben said, what is sales is everywhere. It's in dating, it's in parenting, it's in teams,
leading people, teams,
in leading people, in culture. And you want something from your wife, partner, whatever that is. You want something from your parents. So sales is everywhere, right? And it's about to understand, because for me personal, when somebody asks me, David, what is sales? For me, sales is a life force. This is what sales is for me. If you look at people who aren't fulfilled with what they are doing in sales, or who don't have the outcomes that they have, if you just take
sales is painful, it's a grind, it's a numbers game, it's horrible, it's
draining.
I hate it. It's draining.
Yeah. And so if we just go back into the word life force, and I would just ask this person, hey, how much life force is sales bringing right now into your life? And I know this person comes out of this reality. What would the normal answer be? None. Zero. Nada.
It's taking from it. Yeah.
Right?
It's draining my life force. I hate it. It's the worst.
There we go. And so, and this is basically for me the thing to say, okay, this is my own reality about sales. Sales is for me life force, right? Because everything that I'm able to touch, to have in my life was created through sales.
Same. That's why I'm
everything
in Dubai.
So why is Ben in Dubai? Because sales is doing something for him, right? Also for you guys, you're there on the point because sales is doing something for you. Sales is igniting, increasing some sort of life force for yourself, right? And for me, it's really important that you get this. You get it, you say, oh man, okay, so when you think about you haven't been able to enroll somebody into your world, how much life force was in there? Did you really have been able to dig deep and to open up? Like, so life force is tapped. What is your job? To plop it, right? What you want to do, you want to plop the life force. You want to open it up, right? This is basically what you do. When somebody says yes, the person says, yeah, please, here we go. And you can access that, right? The person can access that. So this is sales is for me. And yeah, so Jason, this was for you. So I say, yeah, sales is everywhere. Yeah, sales really is everywhere. And Louis, going back to you. So the first thing really is for me to I want that you explain me what the thing is that I want to sell to you. Let's say if we go back to events.
You what is content for you? You know, you're trying to sell content. What's content for you?
Exactly. Finish the sentence. Content is.
Yeah. I taught this to one of our clients who sells style, the men's style. I'm like, hey, why don't you start the call saying, hey, finish the sentence. Style is blank. And then they're like, oh, it's this, it's that. And because before his conversations were really surface level. Oh, and it's like, you know, he was doing a lot of, I don't know how to say it, like just coaching throughout his sales process. And it's just like when he started asking these deeper questions, he got way deeper answers and he was able to shift the conversation a lot faster, start closing a lot more.
Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty an amazing question. Just because, like, for example, like, what is content for me? It's like I produce content myself, so for me, it's a form of expression, and like that's my frame.
Boom.
And then you know how to frame the call towards like, oh, you can like appeal to that so much easier because like I already gave you what I think of it.
Yeah, and for you, Jason, fitness is blank. Fitness is hard. It's painful. It's like you know, or it's like fitness is everything. It's life. Like, how can you know, whatever you sell, it's like it has to be like the number one thing that
energy if you go for it.
I mean, fitness has changed my life, like in every conceivable way.
Yeah, and this is just to come back why I use those type of questions.
They're different. I would say they're different because every other sales question is like, oh, like tell me about like what got you to the call, da da da, and it's like it's people. There's like a script that people expect from a sales call.
Yeah,
and sometimes different is better than better. And David is like the king of being different.
And the thing is, and this is why I'm really digging deep. I want you not to just copy that. I really want you to understand that, right? Because if I see so many salespeople failing because somebody told them, hey, ask this question. Okay, so they ask those questions, but they don't understand the thinking behind those questions. And then they say, oh, you know what? This question is shit. It doesn't work. Okay, did you get it?
Do you know why you're asking it?
No. Do you know why you're asking this specific question there? No. It's just there. So it's stupid. Right? It's really stupid. No? And so with that, it's really about you, because I want to take the conversation quick, deep. I want to surpass all those. Let's say in the beginning of the call, every prospect has some sort of mask, right? So here is you, here's the let's say here's you, here's the prospect, and between you and the prospect there is some sort of mask. Okay, let's see what happens, blah blah blah. And with those type of questions, you're able to surpass those masks, right? Pretty quick. And when I allow you to get rid of your mask based on the questions that I ask, you say, oh, just imagine having a mask. You come into this call. When will you keep the mask on your face and when will you put it down? Question for you guys. When will you keep the mask up and when will you put it down?
For me, it's like if I'm on guard, like I'm like, oh, this is a sales call. I gotta like, there we go. I got my sales defenses up.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I hear the words, you might qualify. Like there's certain things that just talk about in sales. I'm like, oh, I'm keeping that mask on.
There we go. Luis, what do you say?
Yeah, same with that. Like, I don't like being sold, but I'm easy to sell, if that makes sense. But I don't want to be like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll buy, but like, I don't want to be like pre-qualified or like trying to convince myself to buy something, or you know what I mean?
You can always tell in a conversation, it's like, oh, this guy's qualifying me. Like, especially with setters, it's like, oh, like how much money you're making, da da da. And they get to these very qualified questions, and it's like nobody wants to feel like, oh, this guy's qualifying me. Like, this is horrible.
Or like they'll ask me questions like that, and I'll ask them a question, and they'll just act like it never happened. And then I'm like, "Oh, you are definitely a setter, and I'm just money to you." This was very rude.
Yeah,
100%.
And so, what for me it's the ideal version of the ideal situation for you guys is that the prospect left the mask outside of the call, right? So they are coming in naked. And so for them coming in naked, they need two things: trust and respect. Trust and respect. So when does, in those 4 stages, motivation, interest, desire, demand, when does trust and respect comes in after demand? When I demand something, or like before demanding it, there must be some trust and respect. Right? So between desire and demand. So when I put you guys into desiring more of this, let's just take this. When will you demand more of that? When you trust me and when you respect me, right? That's basically it.
Yeah. And trusting is like, oh, like, okay, like I trust that this guy can help, right? Basically.
There we go.
Especially when you feel like you're being listened to. A lot of setters, I feel like they're clearly scripted and they don't know how to display any sense that they're listening to the prospect.
So true.
It's like listening to, are you listening to respond or listening to like just ask your next question, on your script?
Then you just put it in like 2 sentences. Perfect.
Yeah. And there is one thing,
checklist video.
And there's one thing why that is like that. If you take the word listen and you turn it around, you see the word silent. So they aren't able to listen because in their mind they aren't silent. There's a lot of noise. Okay, I need the sale, I need to do this. Oh, if I don't do that, my boss will fuck me up. Oh my gosh.
I'm behind on my projections, I need to close this guy, like
right? So they can't listen because they aren't silent in their mind. That's it. And now it's making sense why I say who's the most important in the call, the most important person in the call, you, right? If you're not silent, then you will not be able to listen. If you're not silent and you're not able to listen, who will dominate the frame? Not you, the prospect. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
If you're not silent, if you're able to dominate the frame, to control the frame, how will your pitch be? Fucked up. Pretty simple, right?
I turned down a role because the CEO on training literally broke this rule. He spent the whole time talking and pitching us and telling us about how he discounted his product literally for this. And just something about it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And
that happens all the time in sales calls. The prospect's like, something doesn't feel right here. We're talking, but there's no, connection.
Yeah. And the point to that for me is that when this connection happens, for me, it's about energy. It's about the energy that the salesperson brings into the call, right? So exactly, it's what we bring in, right? So you see it in this call that the energy has already shifted because all of us, we are engaging, right? There is no like doubt mode. It's like, man, that's just a normal conversation, right? Exactly. Here we go. It's like flowing around. You do something. We
like
take
a bit of a dance, you know?
Yeah. And so a lot of
I gotta use the
salespeople,
washroom.
right? So a lot of salespeople, they just have a fucked up energy with which they come into the call, right? Or in the chat. Yeah, please say it again. I didn't get it.
No, I appreciate that you making points about this, because two things that actually helped me at least be better conversationalists was during pandemic 2020, I did one-on-one coaching over Zoom with a guy who's an improv teacher, and it was mainly focused on dating, but it's also just in your life, like how to keep the conversation going, how to be fun without just trying to like self-deprecating humor all the time. And then the second one was I read the book Chris's Boss's Never Split the Difference, and it really changed how I look at listening and talking to people, because he negotiates with terrorists, and it kind of opened up my eyes.
Yeah, definitely. Right. And this is such a mission critical point. And I see it so often that sales reps, they come in with a fucked up energy. Point number one. Point number two, the sales rep himself or herself is living in the land of maybe, in the maybe land. What is the maybe land? I'm living in the land of hell yes or hell no. Hey, you want to do it? Maybe. No. You want to do it? I don't know. Get out. So the decision, if somebody tells me I don't know, so basically the decision for now is a no. And we're going to restart the process, which I want to share with you in a second, again. So I don't want you in a maybe land, because maybe for me is for losers. Oh yeah, maybe you're gonna buy. Fuck you, no. It's never gonna happen. Never. Right? So we have for you guys, really, you can memorize that. The energy is fucked up, point number one, because they are living in the maybe land. They demand something from others, which they don't like demand from themselves, right? If you have like salespeople who accept a maybe, but demand a yes or a no, there is an incongruency. There is a disconnect, right? Between what they do for themselves and how they want prospects to show up in their world. So this is really an important point, that a lot of sales reps, they're living in this maybe land, and they come in with a maybe energy, but they don't say, okay, this is what I'm here for. This is my thing. This is what I demand, right? Because they are afraid to pitch, right? They are afraid to ask those tough questions, which are tough. Yeah, we will go to that into a second. And what is, if you're in the maybe land, if sales reps live in the maybe land, how do they sell? They manipulate, they motivate, they lie, and they sell based on hype. Pretty simple.
Pressure people.
Yeah. Right.
It's all pressure.
It's all pressured. And this is what I see pretty often. So the first thing, Luis, it goes back, energy. What is energy? The person. Right. So we have it again. It always starts with the person. It's an inside out approach. It's taking somebody from the inside to the outside, right? It's aligning the internal world with the external world. And we see it so often in sales calls that the internal world from the prospect, we have it again, shattering their worlds, isn't aligning with the external world. And so we have some gaps in there. Yeah.
I like what you said. We were on a call yesterday, and you were saying how when you listen to a call, you can tell really quickly whether the salesperson is in an abundant state of mind or a scarcity state of mind. They're asking scarcity questions or like abundance questions. I thought that was interesting as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely, because you hear it, right? When do we don't get it? When our energy, when we are not present in the call. If you guys just step into this call, you feel the energy of this call. Without talking woo-woo, but you feel it, right?
Like most salespeople, let's be honest, you probably have your script up on your page, and you're like looking at your next question. You know, I know people that maybe they have their objection handles, like, oh, like if they say this, I'm like, you can see that they're like reading on another page or something when they're talking to the person.
Or they're like thinking of what to say. They're like, yeah, well, like, what about that? Like, they're just like, they're just not there. You know, they're not present. That's so huge.
Yeah. And this is really a point, and this goes back to you, Jordan. You mentioned this about never split the difference. What does Chris Voss talks about? He talks about why is he so good? Because he understands human behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simple. What do you do with shattering the world? This is human behavior. I take away. Do you guys have brothers or sisters, something like that?
Yep.
Okay, younger, older, doesn't matter.
Older.
Okay, so if you want to give your siblings something new, they have to let go of the old, right? It's basically the same. If you want them to do something new, they have to accept that the thing that they are holding in their hand right now is shit. This is basic human behavior. It's to make them understand that the thing that they are currently holding in their hand isn't good for them. For this, we need to communicate. I can say, hey, what you have is shit. Give me this thing. Take my thing. This is like the shitty sales approach. Hey, my thing is great. Get rid of your thing. Or if I'm able to communicate just a second, Ben, or if I'm able to communicate in a strong way, right? To communicate a compelling message where you guys give me permission to continue communicating that, right? So when we talk about frames, everybody's holding that frame. Everybody, each of us right now in this room, everybody has a frame around this, like an energy shield. And so when does this energy shield collapse? When we attack it. Boom, 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 right? So the energy shield must be attacked so that at some point it collapses, and then we can take it over. The same happens with Jordan, you asked, dating, Jason, all of that, right? It happens with dating, with parenting, with relationships, with sales things. So it's about really penetrating this protection shield, this frame that somebody brings into a call. And then as soon as this frame has collapsed, the energy is like switched off, right? Like the light is off. No more energy on, off. As soon as this happens, then we can build up a new frame. Then we can integrate. This is what Ben said with Pac-Man. As once the light has gone out or off, then we can take over, and then the other person will fit into the new frame, into the new reality from the salesperson, right? And this is what I see so often. And this is also what you see in the energy from the sales reps, because you hear it in the questions. And you also, guys, you also are able to hear it in the questions that the prospect asks you. Where are they in? Are they coming from a really like, I'm confident, right? I really want that thing. Or they just like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. It's a nice conversation, right? And one thing that really helps me to understand where this person is, it is how easy it is to communicate with somebody. So it shows me that you guys have a great attitude because it's easy and simple to communicate with you guys. It's easy and simple. So your attitude, your values, everything that's personal, internal is great in your life because it's easy for me to communicate with you, right? So the higher the attitude, the higher the values are, the easier you can connect with somebody.
That's why great salespeople, they're so personable. Like they can just befriend anyone in seconds. I was at a club on Saturday and I was there with a guy who's like in sales. I could tell because he just walked up to the bouncers and he's like started talking to them and making friends with people, and boom, boom, boom. Like they're like, you guys can't get in. After 10 minutes, they're like, all right, come on in. Like, like there's like, we went from no way you're getting in to after a few minutes of just chatting. And it's like, you know, he's had a really good energy, and the person's like, yeah, fine, come on, come on in. It's funny.
Yeah, it's really basically that. And so, so always say, look at the easiness in the communication. And this is like an indicator for me, where's Where could be the attitude from the person, right? If it's like, okay, what do you want? Like short answers, like defensive answers, I say, okay. So I can build my brain, I can focus my brain and my entire call around, okay, there will be some more massaging required, right? To just relax, right? Just relax. So it will take a little bit longer, which is fine. But the person really can relax, and this is it, right? So then we have it again, taking somebody from feeling, okay, I can let go of the mask, into keeping it up. Because the thing is, when you talk to somebody with the mask on his face, the information will not sink in, right? It will just bounce back like boom, boom, boom. There will be no agreement. There will be no, oh, I get it. And this is why I ask, okay, what are you getting out of that? What have you understood like in the past 15 minutes? This is why I asked you this, right? So this was from my side, Luis, for you. This was a question for me to see if your guard is still up, if your mask is still there, or if some insights really landed and you said, yeah, man, this really landed. So I know you're open.
Yeah. You want to close people, you got to open them first. Which means relax, let the guard down, have an open, transparent communication, friend to friend almost.
Yeah.
It was like, Ben, I met you here in Medellin, and I didn't even know what the heck you did in sales until months later. And I'm like, just usually some cool guy I had lunch with.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically that, right? Is this helpful?
This is great. I think throughout the entire conversation, I noticed how present even you are speaking to us. Like, I know that you have mastery on this because you're not, like we were talking about earlier, as a sales rep, sometimes you're referring to different things, or when you don't know it that well, you start, veering off, trying to think deep, but you're just like staring into our souls and just like preaching in like the best way possible.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you have a good way to touch on philosophy. Even as much as I'm starting to daze out. I'm 2 hours past. I got to go make lunch. My body's telling me it's time to take a break and get some food.
Yeah, man. Easy.
Keep the blood sugar up while you're closing.
Yeah.
Do you have any type of questions to what we have been talking, or to any direction where there's something where you say, okay, hey, can you dig deeper into that? What is related to getting more yeses to your offers from the things that we have been talking about?
I have a question. Maybe he can relate to it too. And I'm really curious because you had a guy that guy was an addict for like 12 years. What was his experience prior to getting into your team?
I don't think you finished that story, because that addict guy went and closed a $34,000 sale.
Yeah.
Which I thought was the cool part.
Yeah.
After David worked on him.
Yeah. So so the full story. So sorry for not sharing the full story. The full story with this guy, he wanted to sell his own thing, but it really didn't work. So he was just about all the tactical stuff, all of those things. And I really dig deep and helped him to build his self-mastery, to master himself, right? Because let me share my screen.
So he was in sales of some sort before, I take it.
Exactly. And this is where is it? Then I want to come up with the picture from the puzzle. Where is it? The sales puzzle. Here we go. Yeah. I just want to share that you guys, that you have a better understanding of what I mean with the puzzle. So let me
should be able to share it. There you go.
Yeah. Just a second.
Well, 12 years later. By the way, Dubai, like, you know how Rappi is like super convenient in Colombia? Like Dubai is like the most convenient place imaginable. You can order anything. Like it's crazy.
I mean, what do you say by that? Like, how have you tested it?
Like you could get someone to come and like fill up your car with gas. You're like, I forgot to fill it. And they'll just drive to your house with a fucking gas tank and be like, yeah, fill it up for you. Like anything you want. Like it's like
Really?
crazy. Yeah. And it's not even that expensive here. Everyone's like, it's so expensive. Are we having technical difficulties, David?
Yeah, but I will get it in a second. Ben, continue.
Yeah, Rappi's cheap. Like I got like a $4 chori pan delivered to my house yesterday, and I'm like, it wasn't even like added on fees. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
What are y'all talking about? What is Rappi?
Rappi's like an Uber Eats, but like on steroids.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Uber Eats if it were the way it should be.
It's not like $40 for the most basic thing.
Yeah, like the base fee, like you could pay like $3 a month and get Rappi Premium and basically have zero fees. But like yesterday, yeah, I got like a chori pan, which is like almost a foot long bread sandwich with chorizo, pretty big chorizo, and like mayonnaise and guacamole. Nice sandwich from a good place. Delivered straight to my door in about 20 minutes for $4.50.
That's crazy.
By some guy on a motorcycle, so he's faster.
Dude, you can. My friend said they were on a boat and they ordered pizza, and the guy rolled up on a jet ski to deliver the pizza.
Oh, that all right. That I haven't heard of that one.
It's a flex. It's a flex.
So there you see it. So for me, sales is a piece of multiple pieces, right? To really get the entire sales puzzle, and what most sales reps do, they just master that. They just step into the tactics, well, what to sell, how to sell, all those things. But you see, if you think about the frame of a puzzle, then the big thing, you see that there are still some missing pieces, right?
Yeah.
This is exciting to see because I actually have a coach helping me right now, and I got my labs done, so I realized what I have to do with my diet and then how I have to help program my brain so I don't feel stress on the bodily level. And it's a part of self-mastery, but it's also like the internal message. So it's kind of like a good reminder that I'm doing the right thing.
Did you get a gene test?
No, but I had like a 22-point, like all over lab.
Like blood work?
Ounces done. Yeah, here.
Yeah. So this is basically the same, right? So your coach, your mentor, whatever in this place is tackling all the pieces of the puzzle, because only doing one piece. And this is what I did with this former drug addict who was just focusing on that, and it really helped him to say, okay, look, we got some energy mastery to do here, right? You have to be able to master your energy, and there comes in all the stuff around energy, habits, all of that, right? Then we have the self-mastery about identity, all of those pieces, right? Because you can have the greatest skills, but if your persona, if your identity is fucked up, then please don't step into sales, right? Please don't do that.
Energy mastery. For some reason, I had the idea in my head I had to do fasting, not eat breakfast, and that was killing my energy. Yeah. Now I eat 3 meals a day, and I'm like full of life again. Like I'm kind of tired right now because I just have to go eat lunch.
Yeah, dude. I tried that for a long time. It didn't really work.
And so
it hurt my testosterone and a whole bunch of things. And it was like, all right, every little step is important.
But definitely it is, and all the pieces are relevant, right? You can't build a puzzle without all the pieces, and you have to know which piece, because I can take this piece and try to fit it in here, but it will not fit.
Yep.
So I just have a problem, right? I will really have a problem. This is what I did with this dude. I really helped him to get all the pieces together. And what happened then, he started selling high ticket stuff. Really, he started selling high ticket stuff, not because of his skills, but he got all the pieces together. And this was important for him. So what is he using right now? He's using some like same pictures, right? Because, and this was basically the thing. So right now he's selling, I think, what was it? I think he sold like a 400,000 Danish krones, or like 40,000 euros. right? So he was coming from nothing, and now he's selling constantly those 400K deals in Danish krones, which are like 40,000 euro. I don't know how much in US. I think like 50, 45,000, something like this.
A lot.
Yeah. And
for himself or for another offer?
What? Yeah, for himself. He's selling his
Damn.
own things right now. And this came
That's
out
crazy.
of really helping him to understand his puzzle pieces, which aren't at the right place right now. Because you can have the right pieces, but if you place them at the wrong place, you lose, right? Nothing will really work. And so this was the piece with him to really helping him to understand, okay, look, what is in there, right? What is in there? What is relevant? What we really must take care of? What are the things? Get rid of that. And with messaging, it means all the communication. How do I communicate with myself, right? Which also has a lot to do with self-mastery, which also has to do a lot with energy mastery, right? How do I communicate?
Sales, for sure.
Yeah. And then growth. How is he growing in all areas of life? And then the main skill, or for him, the main skill, for me, just one of the skills, sales. So everything around sales, how he sees sales, how he treats sales, stuff like that. Right. And so this is
just,
yeah.
I'd like to just touch on the growth, like growing in all areas of life. Salespeople, you can get tunnel vision where you're just like work mode, work, more money, work harder. Especially if you're on a team with like high performance, high standards, like on Cole Gordon's team, it's like you got to work like 15 hours a day. That, like, you don't have to, but that's kind of like the culture, you know. And it's really easy to get out of balance. You just focus only on work. Your fitness and your health and starts declining. Your relationships can start declining. Your fun, you know, all the other parts of your life can start declining. And so like balance is a huge thing for sales, just to keep yourself happy, keep yourself, you know, like, oh, like that's why I'm doing it. So I can do this other stuff. So I can travel. So I can, you know, do whatever you like to do. It's huge.
Yeah.
On that note, appreciate you guys' time. I actually have to jump off and make sure I do take care of my energy.
Man, please do that. Talk to you soon, man. Bye-bye.
That was fitting.
No. And yeah, so also this piece, Luis, for you, like the puzzle piece, and it really makes it simple, right? To create some sort of pictures, because everybody knows the puzzle, right? So the only thing for you would be how to like know what are your puzzle pieces, which make your offer complete, right? So there are like multiple pieces in your offer right now, right? So what are the pieces in your offer that you guys are selling? What is included in there?
Just like the three pillars, like the three main things would be like ideation, editing, and then management of content.
There we go. Right. So right now, how you could use this is to ask somebody, hey, look, this is the big picture. Think about a puzzle. And for us, content is a full puzzle, right? So making amazing content means a full puzzle where all the pieces are in there. So then you have the big picture. Okay, so what do you need? You need to know which piece belongs in which place.
Right? Which ones are missing?
Yeah, which one is missing? Which one is maybe broken? Which one is not working? Which one is not existent? So prospect, let me ask you, if you now know that great content are those 6 pieces of the puzzle, which one are you having right now? Which one is missing?
Yeah. Now you could probably break it into more than 3, you know, ideations.
Yeah.
Like one of them has to be messaging. Are you talking to the right people? Are you distributing the content correctly? Is it editing? So it's like the people are watching it. Is it original? Is it like maybe nurturing people and like pre-selling them, building trust? Like there's all these different, you could probably create this whole thing. It's like, does your stuff check all the boxes? No. Rate yourself scale 1 to 10, or like red, yellow, green. Red is broken, yellow could use work, green is perfect. And like they will start selling themselves. Like, oh, like they see the whole picture. And they're like, oh, like it's like the light bulb goes off. You know, like that puzzle is like a model, which is part of framing, but it gets people to, you know, what's the word? It's getting late here.
Like
but it gets people
self-actualize.
self identify their weak spots, I would say.
Yeah,
which builds the gap more.
exactly. Because this is for me one thing that I really want people to, that they tell me, oh, that's the thing that's missing. Because then it's coming out of your mouth and not out of mine.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for this, I need to know and hold the frame, right? So we go back to those three things: you, frame, pitch. If I want you to be aware of what's not working, what's not missing, I need to be present. I need to be showing up in my self best, all the things we talked about. Then I need to be able to put you into the right frame. For this, I need to make sure that also your energy is not fucked up.
Yep.
And so when I make sure that I'm cool, you will be cool because you will adapt to my energy. It's natural. You will adapt. When I go up, you go up. When I go down, you go down. Pretty simple. This just human behavior, right?
Yep.
And then as soon as I have done that, then I'm building up the frame. I'm setting it up, and then I know exactly what I want from you and for you in the call. I know it. I know for me, and you can ask Ben, I really bring people into the place where they say, David, please pitch me now. You have my permission to take my credit card. Pitch
I
me.
watched your sales call, and the woman said, she's like, yeah, give me the pitch. Like, I want to know what it is. Like, I'm ready. Like, you have my permission to pitch me. Like, I want it.
Yeah. And for that, what's required, that she understands what is not working in her world.
Mm-hmm.
It's missing. And then it really becomes simple. Sorry, man, you want to say something?
Yeah, no, I just have a question, but finish it after that. It will be
No, I'm good. I'm good.
No, you just mentioned earlier that you need to kill their paradigm or like their books about thinking, like of
Their
the
rule
sales
books.
call. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how can you get more into that?
Of
How
course.
to do that?
Yes, man. This is cool stuff.
And also just one more thing, that you guys have any like pre-recorded sales call that is good to watch to learn more?
I think a call is a nice idea, but a call without understanding what we are doing, because it wouldn't serve
I
you.
won't. Yeah, it will be strange to me. Like I won't understand that what you are guys doing.
Exactly. Right. So let's just take the thing what I meant. So let's say this is the current reality, right? This is the current reality. This is now. And this is future, right? Okay, where you want to take, where all of us want to take the prospect is from here to there, basically. Correct? I think everybody says yes. Okay,
yes.
Cool. So in my world, if I just take my example, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas. We take it about the sales puzzle. Okay, so there is a rule of books about sales mastery, which is
I made a screenshot of the puzzle.
Yeah, I will share it again in a second. So there's the sales mastery, there's the energy mastery, there's the self mastery, there's the growth mastery, and there's the, what was it? The message mastery.
Yeah.
So each of those areas right now has, when we talk about the topic of sales, each of you have your own rule of books around those topics, right? You say, hey, sure. So Louis, you would say, for me, growth is this. You would put this into your growth mastery rule book. This is how I grow. This is when so you
this
have
is what
your
growth means to me. Da, da, da.
exactly all of those things.
What I'm
right?
doing for growth. Here, like if you had to rate yourself, how good is your growth right now? 1 to 10. 10 is like perfect, and 1 is like horrible.
Yeah. So
what does that mean to you?
In order for me to get you from this reality to that reality, at first, I need you to make you aware that the rule book which you're using right now about the topic of growth mastery isn't or is old school.
Or broken or not there.
Whatever. Before, I didn't help you and guide you that you give yourself permission. This is a mission critical word, permission. All of us, we're in the business of permission. You guys give yourself permission to go from here to there. It's an internal permission which you guys give yourself. What I do, I just build the frame to go there. But you give yourself the permission, right? As soon as you give yourself the permission, then we go from desire into demand.
Yeah, I think I get it.
Yeah. And so going back to that, it's important that I understand how you guys are seeing right now, let's say energy mastery, Ben's best topic, right? Ben, he can sell everybody into that, just understanding, okay, what is your type of energy mastery? So Ben, he's so good in just because of the energy mastery that he has mastered, he can tackle all of the other things, right? And this is what Ben mentioned, that our work is holistic. It does not only affect the business, it affects private life. It affects relationships. Yeah. It affects money. It affects growth in business. It affects multiple areas.
A point on that, like what makes someone buy is when you show them that they have a problem, but this problem is deeper than just like, I need more leads. I need better content. I need to lose 10 pounds. This is affecting you in this area, in this area. What about this area? What about this area? And you give them criteria to think through. Oh, you know what? Me being 10 pounds overweight is kind of is affecting my relationships. It kind of is affecting my self-confidence. It kind of is affecting my finances because I can't, you know, like I'm tired at work. I'm not as motivated. You know, it kind of is affecting my relationships because my girlfriend's like, turn the lights off. I don't want to see that gut while we're having sex. You know, it's affecting all these different areas. And so like, that's a way for them. It's a frame that you can say, look, this little problem that you thought was a tiny problem, it's actually a really big problem. And getting them to be like, you're right. Fuck, I didn't think about that.
Just please solve it for me.
Yeah. When they're like, what can you do for me? And you're like, you know, then you just have to get them past the 3 horses of David's 3 horses.
This is dope. I haven't seen anything like this. It's like it's very simple, but at the same time, it's like just shattering all their beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I just haven't seen like the whole like the visualize aspect of this. Like I guess I've heard it before, but you know, asking and burning all their bucks to get them to their future state is pretty cool way to view it.
Totally.
Because look, if I make you right now understand that this worldview and that this self-view doesn't work, you are ready for creating with me a new worldview, new self-view, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Say, yeah, okay. So now I got one big thing. Now I moved you. So what is happening right now in your mind, just for you, that you understand what is happening, you are telling yourself. So let's say I help you to understand that your current self-view, your current worldview is not working. What is your mind already doing? Is your mind already in creating a new reality?
Maybe not. Or is it?
Yeah.
It is right now. because you're understanding that your current worldview doesn't work, and I help you to create a new worldview, right? To create a new self-view. So what is the story that has been triggered that is starting right now? Is this a positive story or is this a bad story that you're, what is it?
It's a good one. Perception, positive perception.
There we go. So this is what I basically want. I want your system to tell yourself a different story. As soon as I have put you into the state, as soon as I have activated your system, that your system tells you, like your conscious, subconscious mind, tells you a different story, then you're ready for the how-to.
Your pitch.
Exactly. Then I can tell you how I work with you. Then I can tell you the exact steps. Then I can say, this is step number 1. This is step number 2. This is step number 3. This is blah, blah, blah. Because then you're ready for it. Because your system is demanding the how-to.
Yeah. It needs a resolution, you know?
Yes, exactly.
David, just really quick. It's like 11:35. I got to be at the airport.
Yeah,
like 12.
we're just finishing it up, right? We're just finishing it up. And yeah, that's basically the thing. And one thing that Ben mentioned about the 3 horses, right? So let's say we got all of that, right? We got all of that covered. And you say, yeah, man, that's cool. I'm really looking forward to do this, but I don't know. And so, and this was the thing that I asked Ben, because Ben and me, we have been chatting quite a while about doing this thing here, right?
Yeah.
And then I asked Ben, look, if you just think about a Roman horse race car, right? And so this Roman horse race car is pulled by 3 horses. And those 3 horses are the following 3 horses: doubt, indecision, and fear. So which of those 3 horses is pulling the race car when it comes up to doing this workshop? And then Ben told me,
I was like, probably indecision or doubt or something. I don't know. One of those ones. I had to tell him something.
So it was.
He didn't give me an option for no, none of the horses. I'm like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah. And then it just asked him, man, which one of those horses is guiding you?
Yeah, it's a good question. Make them look internally. Like, oh, it is this. But like, what are you going to do to change it?
Yeah. So what needs to happen that we take the horse of indecision into total confidence, that we take the horse of fear into the opposite, that we take the horse of doubt into the opposite. He said, oh man, so good. So he got it, he understood it, and then he was ready to transition into doing this thing, what we're doing, right?
So basically you are getting them to sell for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. And what I'm doing there is I'm taking something that everybody knows what it is, a Roman horse race car, which is pulled by horses, right? So I'm not telling you to do a doctor's degree thing, like drawing some weird things. Every idiot knows what a Roman race car is. Everybody knows what horses are. And so it's just to say, okay, which horse is leading you? If you look at the situation in which you're in, is it doubt? Is it indecision? Or is it fear? Oh man, okay, so let's say you have 2 horses who are great, but then doubt is kicking in, right? So you're going straight and doubt is pulling you to the left, or indecision is pulling you to the right. What will you do? Do you think keeping at the same path which you're in will help? No, it won't. Right? So it's really about helping people to, as soon as you're able to create some pictures for yourself, which are simple, then you always can use them like a puzzle. Everybody knows what a fucking puzzle is. Everybody knows what a horse car is pulled by horses. right? Everybody knows that. This is not rocket science language that I'm using. I'm using something simple, which everybody knows and which is easy to memorize, right? I say, okay, so you guys, you can memorize that right now. You say, okay, yeah, let's use the thing about the horses. Let's use the thing with the puzzle, whatever it is. Yeah, but it's easy for you to reproduce it in your own words, in your own mind, for your own stuff. So yeah, man, that's basically it. Hope to help.
Yeah, that was awesome. I can relate that, right? The three horses to like what people use, like, oh, I typically see that people fall in two different buckets. And then like you give them the two buckets, it's like, oh, this or that. And then people kind of categorize themselves. So that's like something that I've been using, but I really like the imagery behind the horses because everybody can relate to a horse pulling, you know, a buggy, and one of them is not pulling, you know, completely 100%, and just kind of using that imagery is a lot easier.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So that's basically it. And Ben asked me, David, what shall we do? Man, let's definitely repeat that, right? And would love to see you often here, and then to really continue this journey if you're up to that, guys.
Yeah, I'm really appreciate the guys that what you did now. It was actually really helpful. I actually learned a lot of things now.
Yeah, what stood for you like the most out of that?
No, actually, this last one with the horses for me. Like I'm haven't been doing any sales call, or I'm just trying to get into this, and I was trying to get information about this because like the objection handling, and I think this is part of it. And yeah, I think this could really help in the future for me if the client doesn't want to close, and
just unpacking it and customizing it for you.
Yeah. Because I think oh, sorry, it's a big problem that if you don't know, I got into a couple of sales calls to see what people do or to try to sell me, and there is a lot of things that I can relate to that you said and they did wrong in the sales call that I was into. And this is I think this is a good thing with the horses, because then you just don't hang up the call, you know what you need to work on more. If like also in the long term, if out of 5 people says the same, that it's fear, then you know that you have to change something on your frame or just do the same calls in a different way.
Basically, exactly that. Yeah. Louis, what was it for you, man, that like stood out the most?
Yeah, I really like the way that you viewed sales, just talking about life force and just opening up that life force out of people. I always viewed sales as like getting people to make a decision, but I like the life force because, you know, once you get them to make that decision, it affects everything else. It's all intertwined. So, and then obviously like that first question when you dive in, regardless of like whatever domain you're in, just asking like, hey, like what does this mean to you? And, you know, you just immediately give them permission to, I guess, speak their truth and like how they view that domain.
Exactly. Right. Because so first, thanks for the share. Because this really shows where they are. Right. So if you would say, okay, sales is money for me, I say, what do you mean? What else is sales? What else is sales? What else is sales? So I keep digging till I really find the thing, what it really means for you. So I never like accept the first thing. I say, how do you mean that? This sounds cool. So what's the reason? So you have a reason for saying that. What is it? Really dig deeper into that.
So if I understand it correctly, when you find out what's exactly driving them or what's their really desire, then you are selling to them based on that, right?
Exactly. Then I will take this thing and I will always put it back, right? I will always reuse it, because let's say like Louis, you mentioned, even if it was just a play, events are transformation, I would always come back to that. How does this relate to the thing that you mentioned at the beginning, like sales events are transformation? How do you want to make sure that everything that you're doing creates this outcome, which is transformation? Is your thinking transformation oriented or destruction oriented? What is it?
He's always framing you based on what you said. Yeah. So good.
That's really
listen, guys. Yeah, this has been fun for me. But
don't miss the plane. Yeah.
Yeah. Any last words?
No, just David, your socials. Like, yeah, if you got a Twitter or anything, it would be good to follow.
Yeah, I'm on Insta, Ben. If you could just share it with you can look at David Solano.
Ben, did you rebrand?
Did I?
Yeah.
On Insta?
I guess on Insta. I'm on Instagram right now. You were like the supreme cash collector or something.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go back to that. I was going for more like an SEO kind of thing. I was like the sales superhero. I was a cheap cash collector, still that on Twitter. I'm going to make I think I'm going to do like a low ticket community called Cash Collectors and just do a whole bunch of cool trainings on sales and lead gen and mindset and energy and finding offers and all kinds of cool stuff in the future.
Yeah. So what Ben and me definitely will do, we will continue this. And then as soon as he's back at home, then we are planning to do an half day thing, right? Which is what we're gonna really
like
dig
an intensive.
Exactly.
Yeah. Help you guys actually take this from theoretical to practical, how
yes, that would be really good.
Yeah, because what we did today, so to Ben, what you just said from theoretical, it's like clouds, right? Taking it into ice cubes.
Down to the dirt.
I didn't understand everything. I will be honest with that.
So
so that would really help me. Like I learned a lot of things, but a lot of them are still unclear for me.
And that's basically it, right? So would love to see you guys again, right? So let's stay in touch in here. Let's repeat that. And Ben, brother, I wish you a great flight. Louis, whatever time it is for you, I think early morning or something like that. Wish you a great day and Horash for you. I think it's like good night, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it's good night.
Huh?
Yeah, guys. I'll follow up with you guys.
Thank you very much, David, for sorry, just
the
I
details
just
of the
wanted
next
to
thing.
thank.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks to you guys for showing up. David, always a pleasure.
Man, brother. And looking forward to see you again, guys. Yeah.
Appreciate
awesome.
your time, guys. Yes, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. I gotta catch a flight.
Bye.
Bye.